Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining me for this yoga practice for the heart Anahata Chakra. This chakra is associated with the color green, and it has to do with love, kindness, and compassion. Not only giving and expressing love and kindness, but also the ability to receive that, to be more compassionate and forgiving of ourselves. Since this chakra also encompasses the lungs and the upper back, this practice will involve opening the chest as well as the shoulder blades and will include some breath work as well. To begin, let's meet on our hands and knees for a few rounds of cat-cow. Spread the fingers wide as you inhale, drop the belly, expand through the chest. As you exhale, round the spine and hang the head. Repeat a few rounds at your own pace, flowing with the rhythm of your breath. Finish out that cycle and we'll prepare for our first pose, melting heart. Keep the hips over the knees, lower down onto the elbows. You can stay here or walk the arms forward to an extended position, inviting the chest to drape closer to the mat, maybe resting the forehead and the chest directly on the mat. The hips much higher than the chest as the back slopes down. Imagine a beautiful green light glowing brighter in your heart space as we activate the heart chakra. Begin to ease your way back up onto the hands and knees, coming into threading the needle. Center the right hand under the chest, reaching the left arm open to the left, then bringing the left arm underneath the chest, palm facing up, threading it through that space under the right arm, opening through the left shoulder blade, reaching the left arm up, opening the chest. Thread the left arm through to the right, opening the back of the left shoulder. Inhale, open. Exhale, thread back through, flowing with the breath. Inhale, open. Return to the mat. Come back onto hands and knees for tiger pose. This is a back bend with a few different options. Fully extend the left leg. Now kick the left leg up toward the ceiling. Lift through the chest, similar to our cat-cow pose. Stay right here or extend the right arm straight ahead. Option to reach that right arm back, opening up the right side of the chest. Feel free to grab onto that ankle or foot if you choose. Stretching through the right shoulder and the left hip flexor and thigh. Whenever you feel ready, go ahead and release the arm and leg back to the mat. Now repeating, threading the needle on the opposite side. Center the left hand under the chest. Rotate the right arm open. And then bring the right arm underneath the chest, palm facing up, threading it through that space under the left arm. Repeat a few more cycles of this, flowing with the breath, inhaling as the arm opens, exhaling as you thread through, feeling the stretch in the back of the right shoulder. Last one. Big inhale on the reach. Return the hand back to the mat. Coming back to tiger pose on the opposite side, kicking the right leg up toward the ceiling. Option to stay here or reach the left arm straight ahead. Option to reach that left arm toward the back of the mat, opening up further through the chest. Feel free to grab a hold of that foot or ankle, holding as long as you'd like. Stretching through the front of the hip and into the left side of the chest. One more breath, release back to the mat. Now coming into our seated position, hero pose, or sitting cross-legged. Working into some seated cat-cow, Place interlaced fingers just gently under the base of the skull. Inhale, draw the elbows open, gazing up, opening through the heart. On the exhale, draw the elbows forward, chin tucks toward the chest. Continue rounding through the back like a cat stretch. Inhale, lifting back up tall. Slight lean back through the chest, opening the elbows. Exhale, draw the elbows forward and downward. Moving fluidly at the rhythm of your breath. Once more. Affirmations can be a nice way to complement your practice when focusing on a specific chakra. Some Heart Chakra affirmations. My heart is wide open. I choose love over fear. Come back onto the hands and knees. Walk the hands slightly ahead of the shoulders, lifting the right leg to create more space. Sweep that right foot forward, stepping as close to the hands as possible. Coming into a low lunge. Extend the right arm open to the right, reaching up, gazing up at the fingertips, arm back to the mat, aligning the right knee over the right ankle. Now taking the weight off of the hands, reaching overhead, fully extending the arms. On the exhale, draw the elbows down to cactus arms. Spread the fingers, squeezing through the shoulder blades. Inhale, reach back up. On the exhale, draw the arms back to cactus. One more time. I show compassion for myself and others. I choose love over fear. That beautiful green light shining brighter in your heart space. Reach both arms behind you, interlacing all the fingers. Draw the knuckles down away from your backside. Deep inhale. On the exhale, begin hinging forward at the hips. Continue folding forward, rounding the spine, dropping the right shoulder inside the right thigh. Humble warrior pose. One more breath. Inhale, slowly rise up. Continue pressing the knuckles down away from the backside, squeezing the shoulder blades. Option to just reach the arms back or hook one finger behind the back. Make sure that right knee stays over the ankle. Leaning back into a little back bend. Slowly start coming forward, releasing the arms. Hands frame the right foot. Now begin pressing the right hip back, straightening the leg. A nice stretch in the back of the leg. Slowly swing the right knee back, or however you can get it there. Press the hips back, then come up to a kneeling upright position. Stacking knees, hips, and shoulders. Big shoulder roll back, bringing folded arms to the lower back. Reaching for either opposite wrist or elbows. Keeping the hips forward, open the chest, begin leaning back with the upper body. Feel free to gently tip the head back or drop the head all the way back, opening up through the throat. Try to stay softened through the jaw. Tailbone tucked, supporting the low back. Gentle pressure into the lower back. Slowly start coming back up. Placing the hands in front of the thighs for a counter stretch with cat pose, rounding through the spine. Flatten the back. Walk the hands slightly ahead of the shoulders, creating that space. Extending the left leg back. Bend the knee. Sweep the left foot forward, stepping as close to the hands as possible, whatever way you can. Expanding through the left side of the chest. Send your gaze up to the fingertips. Release back to the mat. Begin taking some weight off of the hands. Reaching up overhead, sinking into the hips, left thigh, descending. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, draw the elbows down into your cactus arms. Slight back bend. Repeat a few more at the pace of your breath. There is a loving light inside of me. My best is good enough. Bring the arms down, reaching behind the back, interlacing all the fingers, pressing the knuckles away from the back side. Exhale, hinging forward, rounding the back, dropping the left shoulder inside the left thigh. Humble warrior pose. Gently round up. Release the bind behind you. Settle the hands to frame the left foot. Press the left hip back, extending through the left leg, basking in that nice hamstring stretch. Sink back into the low lunge and sweep that left leg around onto hands and knees, lifting to a kneeling upright position. Roll the shoulders back for supported camel. This time hands on the lower back, fingertips pointed downward, supporting the low back. Open through the chest. Option to keep the head and neck in a neutral position or allow the head to fully drop back, softening through the jaw. Gently coming back upright. Place the hands in front of the thighs. Round the back for cat pose, a nice counter stretch to the back extension. Open the knees slightly wider and press the hips all the way back toward the heels for child's pose, Balasana. Take a moment here to find your breath, recenter, draw the attention back to your heart space and that beautiful green glowing light, whatever shade of green appeals to you. Now feel free to stay in your child's pose or start pressing the chest and the upper body forward, hovering along the mat into this smooth, dynamic flow, activating your heart chakra, lowering the chest. Press the hips back all the way to child's pose. Coming forward again the same way, slithering into striking cobra, syncing the movement with your breath, inhaling as you come forward, and exhale, pressing back to child's pose. Repeat that again. Take your time, slow, fluid movements, sending the heart forward, lower the chest, send the hips back toward the heels, perhaps each time sinking a little bit deeper into the pose. Now slowly come up to a seated position, either sitting on the heels or in cross-legged. Reaching back, interlacing all the fingers, squeeze the shoulder blades, expanding across the front of the chest. Drop the head back slightly or all the way, opening up through the throat and the chest, arching through the back on an inhale. Gently tuck the chin forward. As you exhale, start hinging forward from the hips, belly toward the thighs, rounding the spine. Arms reaching as far from the backside as you can. On the inhale, fire up the muscles of the core and begin slowly coming back up. Repeating that cycle once more to the rhythm of your breath. Some other ways to activate your heart Anahata chakra would be to spend time around nature or have plants indoors or consume vegetables or foods that are green in color. Now swing the legs toward the front of the mat, keeping the legs extended for our staff pose, Dandasana, sitting up nice and tall, flexing the feet, getting a stretch in the back of the legs. Now inhale, reaching the arms up overhead. On the exhale, start extending the arms and the torso forward, rounding over the legs. Caterpillar pose. Hanging the head, gazing toward the knees wherever you are with this. Relax the feet. Begin slowly rounding up, stacking the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Reach the hands just behind the hips, fingertips reaching forward. Inhale, lift the belly and the chest. Feel free to stay here or continue lifting the hips, coming into a reverse plank pose. Retracting and engaging through the upper back, keeping the neck and the jaw soft as the head drops back if you choose. Release the hips back to the mat. Let's repeat that once more. Sitting up tall, staff pose. Inhale, reach the arms up, feet are flexed. Exhale, hinge forward from the hips, rounding the back, relaxing through the neck, softening the feet, decompressing through the spine. Now inhale, start rounding back upright, nice and tall through the spine, fingers behind the hips. Inhale, lift the chest, open to a back bend. Continue lifting the hips if you choose, firing up that whole back side of the body. This can be a pretty intense pose, so take your time with it. Be patient with yourself here. Ease out of the pose. Just give yourself a nice little counter twist to the left, twist to the right. Now go ahead and lower all the way down onto your back side as we prepare for our final pose of this heart chakra practice. Giving both knees a nice big hug, gently rocking side to side, massaging through the spine. Release the feet back to the mat. Reach both arms directly out to the sides. Raise the legs up off the mat, keeping the knees and hips at a right angle. Drop the legs all the way over to the right. With the palms facing up, bend the elbows at a right angle, creating our cactus arms. Staying pretty activated through the arms, retract the shoulders as if you're trying to pull the elbows downward, keeping the left shoulder blade flush against the mat. Gently pressing the back of each hand against the floor. Relax through the neck and breathe naturally. Slowly ease out of the pose. Give the knees a nice big hug. Some other ways you can activate your heart chakra, of course, wearing the color green or using eucalyptus as aromatherapy. Let's repeat that reclining twist on the opposite side. Raise the legs at a right angle, arms reaching to the sides. Drop your legs to the left, palms facing up. Bend the elbows, creating cactus arms, drawing the back of the hands and the shoulder blades into the ground, inviting a nice stretch into the lower right spine. Take one more deep breath here. Slowly bring the legs back to center. Give both knees a hug. Rock it up to a seated position. Concluding our heart chakra yoga practice for today by sitting upright, forming a yoga mudra with our hands, touching the tips of the little finger and the thumb together, bringing together the elements of fire and water, symbolizing communication, openness, and intuition. By opening the space around the heart physically through these postures, this can help support us to being more emotionally receptive, allowing us to open our hearts, let love in, and shine our light onto others. Namaste. Thanks so much for joining me for this heart chakra practice. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, share the video with a friend, and leave me a comment down below how you felt after your practice.